Hello, lovely people, all you guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to the Smark and Soul podcast. It's me, Samantha, joined by my co-host, a man who recently received a cease and desist letter from Tony Schiavone because he wouldn't stop asking him for a paternity test. It's Jack.
Hello. I did, honestly, until you were saying the words right there, I didn't even realise that Tony Schiavone and I we have a kind of same facial structures in a way. So that's something I need to follow up on.
I was watching Dynamite and I just looked at him and I was like, that's Jack in like 25, 30 years. Maybe Jack needs to follow up on this.
Yeah, honestly. He, I mean, to be fair, at his age, he's looking and sounding pretty fucking great and he gets to work in wrestling. So, what's not to like about that?
Exactly. And if it does turn out that he is your dad, bit of nepotism. You know?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Why not?
I could get us both in as the new writers.
Yeah.
We can be the new head booking team along Tony Khan.
I'll let you do the booking and I'll take over I'll take like a Renee Paquette role.
Nice. I like that, yeah.
I don't know if I could book week to week. I think you could, but I think I don't want that responsibility.
You could still be like a creative consultant. Like I'd have you in probably like maybe once a month or once every few months towards the big shows to sort of keep us all aligned and stuff. You're literally my moral conscience, Sam, so I do need you.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, cool. Nice one.
Speaking of moral consciences, we're watching a WWE show this week. We are at the Wells Fargo Arena in Philadelphia for the 2018 edition of the WWE Royal Rumble. This was the 28th of January, 2018. The attendance was roughly 17,629. I don't know why I said roughly and then gave a very precise number, but anyway. And also, my favorite part every week, the ticket price range went from $75 to $600. What do you think about that? Because I'm always curious to get your opinion on the ticket price range. It's a big 4 pay-per-view, so $600 you're getting ringside, $75 you're getting nosebleeds.
I think that's all right.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I think maybe if the nosebleeds were like 50, fair enough. I think 75 is a bit of a piss take. But anyway, the road to WrestleMania 34 has officially begun, and we're making our first stop in Philly, which is the home of cheesesteaks and the Wonder Years. After the shit show that was the 2015 Royal Rumble, WWE were desperate not to repeat the same mistakes as 3 years previous, when even The Rock could not save the atmosphere from being as sour as a salty lemon. For the first time ever, we have 2 Royal Rumble matches on the show, thanks to the inventor of women's wrestling, Stephanie McMahon, announcing that the long overdue Women's Rumble will be taking place on the same night, which is historic, monumental, other such platitudes.
What a moment.
So, Jack, what are your memories from this show? Because I really distinctly remember this show because of our experience of watching it that we had.
Yeah, so it was a hit of nostalgia from 8 years ago, Sam, because it was a time where we were both really into WWE. I think we found each other at points in our lives where we were wrestling fans but afraid to be public with it almost, and then we found each other and it was like, oh my god, there's a friend I can talk wrestling to and stuff. And so that was great. And then we sort of, for some of the big fours, I know especially the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, where like, you know, you can be part of an atmosphere with your friends and watching it and stuff. So it was around that time where we were making use of that, and the WWE was putting on a half decent product, especially with NXT as well. We would always watch the NXT takeover to hype us up before the main card, and then, you know, talk about it and all that, and obviously stay up until fucking 5 a.m. But that was 8 years ago when we were both a lot younger, right?
Yeah.
And then I look at WWE now and how corporatized it is, and it's the adverts and how saccharine sweet it is, and also fucking just like slop, and then it tries, and I'm just like, this is just ridiculous. And then, I mean, we're both no strangers to saying this, that we're both AEW marks right now, at least, anyway, and I don't really see that changing much with the current WWE regime. So, roundabout way of saying that, like you have really fond memories of watching this specific show and spending this weekend with you. I remember watching it at your old flat. I think we got some takeaway pizza, and then we got some beers in, and we just enjoyed the fucking show. Was this the one where I was like in a deck chair almost, and I was just falling asleep basically because of how late it was? It might have been one of those. And I mean, not an actual deck chair, but like I don't know what kind of chair. You know, one of the fold out chairs.
No, it was. Yes, it was.
I remember that we were both super hyped because it was the first Women's Rumble. I also remember, I think we did like a random draw with numbers for both the Women's and Men's Rumble, and we agreed that we would get a tattoo that represents the entrant. And I'll be completely honest, I've forgotten what mine was. So, I mean, maybe you could remember that for me. But that's my initial thoughts going in anyway.
Oh my god. I think one of us got Shinsuke for the Men's Rumble. And I think you got Natalia for the Women's Rumble.
Oh, right.
And I think that was our sign to be like, oh, we're not actually going to fucking do this, are we? Because I'm not getting a Natalia tattoo. Yeah, I remember the Royal Rumble was on, and I had just moved into that flat literally that weekend. Like, I think it was the Saturday, or the Friday or the Saturday I'd moved in. Then the Sunday, Royal Rumble day, I was at a christening. You came around the evening. We went to Solihull Walkabout. Because we had booked to go to a watch party, and we were like, oh, brilliant, we're here for the pre-show. And the pre-show was just that like Sky Sports box office thing playing on repeat, and we were like, this is fucking shit. And you were wearing your Andrade t-shirt.
Yeah.
And you went to the bar to get a drink, and some guy started like chatting to you about your t-shirt. And was like, oh, who's that guy? Like, I don't recognize him. He must be a really old wrestler. And you were like, no, he wrestles now. And he was just being like really shitty about the fact that we were liked wrestling. So we're like, fuck this. Like, we were the only people there to actually watch it. So we left, like you said, got some pizzas in, got some beers in. There may have been some illicit substances also consumed. But yeah, this was a goof and a gaff and an aloof laugh. See that fucking, those Irish poetry powers coming out.
Absolutely.
We're here for one reason and one reason only, and that's the historic first time ever, never before seen, never before done, often imitated, never duplicated Women's Royal Rumble. But we have the small issue of a WWE Championship match to open things up tonight, which is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles in a handicap match. Now, this has been a bit of a long-running story on SmackDown for the last maybe 8 or 9 months between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. Basically, Kevin Owens calling out Shane McMahon and being... Oh, by the way, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are the heels here.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens' whole deal is Shane McMahon is a sycophant egomaniac, and he helps out the people that he likes, and the rest of us have to suffer, and it's a conspiracy and all this, and what have you. It led to a Hell in a Cell match between Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon at the aptly named Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, where Sami Zayn, who was a babyface at the time, got involved and joined in then with Kevin Owens's sort of conspiracy theory gimmick against the management of SmackDown, which at the time was Shane McMahon and formerly known as Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan then was in this weird kind of like tweener role where he was still trying to act like a fair GM, but you could tell he was also on the side of Owens and Zayn a little bit. We get to Clash of Champions, and there is a tag match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura, where if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose, they are fired. This was a big thing around this time on both brands, where they would have this like stipulation that if a wrestler lost a match, he was fired or had to leave the brand that he was on or whatever. They seem to do it a lot around this time. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan were like co-referees for this match, and Daniel Bryan counted the 3, but it was suspiciously quick, so that caused some issues. Then Kevin Owens gets a number 1 contender match against AJ Styles on SmackDown, which I think he lost. I don't really remember. Shane was kind of pissed that Kevin Owens was in the main event of the last SmackDown of the year. Don't know why. It's not really... Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles in the main event of SmackDown. Why are you having an issue with that? That's putting eyes on your product. Anyway, Sami Zayn faced AJ Styles, beat AJ Styles. Both matches, they'd helped each other. And AJ then was like, oh, well, why don't we just have a handicap match? And Daniel Bryan was like, that's a great idea. That's how we get to this, a handicap match for the WWE Championship, which is, I think, a really strange idea because I don't think it really helps anybody. I mean, it helps the winner if the winner is on the side of having the handicap. Yes, it helps them. We get into the match, and Owens and Zayn are immediately playing mind games with the champ in this one. They're tagging in and out rapidly to throw AJ off his game. So they're not even locking up with AJ. They're just they would get in the ring and then tag the other one in and just kind of be like, aha, see, you never know which one of us is going to be in. AJ does begin to get the upper hand on Owens, though, and he tries to block off the corner that Sami is in. But KO is very wily, and he runs out of the ring before sliding back in and tagging in his partner. I like that little Baron Corbin-esque spot. We do get our first pin attempt from Sami Zayn after a back body drop on Styles, which he, as always, sells like absolute death. He's so good at selling those big back body drops. He gets so much elevation on them, and he lands safely but makes it look awkward. But anyway, that only gets a 1 count. The challengers are now in control and keeping the pace very methodical as they try and wear down AJ. Owens hits AJ with a pop-up wheelbarrow slam for a 2 and a transition into a rest hold. Boo. Thankfully, however, it doesn't last long. The momentum swings the way of the champion as Owens misses a cannonball into the corner before Styles hits Zayn with a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Sami then misses a haluva kick and Styles takes advantage with a second rope moonsault into an inverted DDT, and the champion is starting to rally a bit now. Styles then locks in a calf crusher on Owens, and right as the panda enthusiast is about to tap out, Sami Zayn makes the save for his best friend. Owens hits AJ with a super kick before Sami hits a blue thunder bomb, but somehow, some way, AJ Styles kicks out. AJ Styles kicks out of the blue thunder bomb. AJ then hits Sami Zayn with a phenomenal forearm, but Owens is there in the nick of time to make the save. Zayn just about makes a tag to Owens, or does he? Before he gets dumped out of the ring. Owens goes for a pop-up powerbomb, but AJ reverses it into a roll-up for the pin and win in 15:55. Now, we had a very controversial finish.
We did.
AJ has Zayn over his shoulder. Zayn is trying to make the tag to Owens. And to be fair, they played this off really well.
They did, to be fair.
On first viewing, it looks like he gets the tag to Owens. And the referee has to kind of duck out of the way at the same time because they're in such close quarters. So it looks like, for all the world, Zayn has tagged in Owens. Owens is not the legal man, but gets pinned. And Sami and AJ are trying to kind of make this point to the referee that Owens wasn't the legal man, so the pin shouldn't count. No VAR here, so we can't look back. But we have had instances in the past where referees have looked at replays, but I digress. Jack, I went 3.75 for this opening match. What did you say?
I went 3.25. I thought it was a pretty damn fine match. It got given a pretty decent chunk of time. It was about 15 minutes, wasn't it? All of the guys in it looked pretty energetic and up for it as well, which is no surprise because all of them came up through independents and secondary companies as well. And I think when put with the spotlight on them, they're just gonna fucking steal the show because they're used to having to scratch and claw their way through, all that kind of stuff. So love all these performers as wrestlers and everything. I agree with you that it's really weird to see a title defended in a handicap match, and it doesn't really happen too often, but yes, when it does happen, it's weird, and it is weird in this as well. But I mean, what happened wasn't too out of the ordinary. I liked it overall, hence the 3.25, and AJ retaining was the obvious choice and I guess the right choice. So yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah. Didn't mind it.
They almost booked themselves into a corner with this one, but I do think the match was booked in a way where it didn't damage Zayn and Owens too much, with that kind of fucky finish. It didn't make them look super weak, and AJ's fight back was just from mistimings from Zayn and Owens. It wasn't him out wrestling Zayn and Owens, it was him just kind of outpacing them or outthinking them or whatever. And it kind of shows that, like, well, this is why he's the WWE champion, because he's able to get his way out of these situations. So, yeah, I think they put themselves in a very sticky situation with this, but I'll give them props. They managed to work their way out of it without making Owens and Zayn look like idiots. They just more so made the referee look like an idiot, really. Yeah. But we immediately then go backstage, and Owens and Zayn have confronted Shane McMahon about the controversy surrounding the end of their match, and they're asking Shane if he saw what happened. The commissioner gives them a wry smile and responds with a "yep," before leaving the Canadians to crash out. So Shane McMahon basically is just straight up saying, like, yeah, I have my biases, and that's completely professional and okay for me to do. We immediately go into our second match, which is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships between Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus the Usos. So this came around, this is not a massive story heading into this. Benjamin and Gable had a win over the Usos, in which they thought they had won the tag titles. Now, see, this is where things get a bit fucky, because Gable pinned the Uso who wasn't legal. The referee counts the 3 as normal, but then after the fact realizes the legal man was not pinned. In this instance, they're able to go back, check, and be like, oh no, you didn't pin the legal man.
Yeah.
However, when the WWE Championship is on the line, they go, well, that's that. Sorry. My arms, my hands are tied on this one. Anyway, the Usos, they come out, they're armed with microphones, and Jey Uso asks Gable and Benjamin, how do they prepare for 2 brothers who have nothing to lose? Which I think is an odd question to ask, considering they are the tag team champions and have the tag team champions to lose. Going into this one, I thought the first fall was absolutely fantastic. Gable and Benjamin spend the first half working over Jimmy Uso's knee and right leg and isolate him from his brother. Eventually Jey gets the hot tag and hits tope on Shelton and Gable, but the challengers won't stay down. No. We get some incredible suplexes from Chad Gable, rolling Germans, tiger suplexes, the lot. A pay dirt from Shelton gets a near fall on Jey, and an Uso splash and super kick combo gets a near fall on Gable. In a 2 out of 3 falls match, we get a near fall. The Usos use Gable's confusion about which Uso is legal once again to their advantage and get the first fall after, count 'em, 4 super kicks on Gable, and the Usos then go 1-0 up. Now, fall number 2 then happens in a flash as Gable and Benjamin immediately work to once again take Jimmy out of the question with a double team move on the outside. Gable cleans Jey's clock with a spinning overhead heel kick, but as Gable goes to the top rope, Jey rolls up Shelty B for 2-0 and the win in 13:55. Again, I went 3.75 for this one. I thought the first fall was just incredible. I think the first fall could have been a whole match by itself. I think the 2 out of 3 falls stipulation kind of made things a bit rushed, especially with that second fall. I think if this had been 1 fall to a finish and you gave them those extra couple of minutes to just like really ramp up the drama in that first fall, this could have very easily been 4+. But that second fall, and also Jimmy Uso's lack of fucking selling on his leg after it being worked over for like 7 or 8 minutes by Gable and Benjamin. He tags out and then, I don't know, like his health just resets and acts like normal. That really fucking pissed me off. Especially, when Fed drones will talk about no selling in other companies. What did you think of this one?
I think people will see the correlation with our scores because I went 3.25 for this one. Same as I gave match 1. I thought it was a bit of a subversive 2 out of 3 falls match, obviously. It was very, very slow paced, which is going to appeal to some people and it's going to really have a negative effect on other people. We didn't have a fall in the first 12 minutes of a 2 out of 3 falls match, which was weird but fucking cool. Even after we've had finishers and kickouts, it was really cool. And I think to win the first fall and then pretty much within a minute have the second fall and then have it be 2-0 instead of the usual 2-1, that's pretty cool. And I'll always sort of enjoy a little bit of subversiveness in my wrestling. Where it fell apart was, you said it, it's the Usos and their selling, and they're just pretty limited in the ring. And then when you're looking at two of the best amateur wrestlers in the world, I guess, in Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, are just wiping the floor with the Usos. And yes, they've got a nice flashy super kick, and they've got their own like 5 moves of doom, like John Cena can do really well. You know, that's fine. And that's why I gave it 3.25, because it's an above average match and I did really enjoy it, but it just held back by the Usos' in-ring ability. Like if it was a team like the Revival at the time, or FTR, in with Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, yeah, it'd probably be a fucking 4.5, 4.75, as even with the subversive nature of going 2-0 up, because then you can start a feud with that. There's not really a lot of character work or story to latch onto after something like this. So whilst I liked the outcome and I liked the booking, I mean, where's it really going to go from there? There's nothing to really sink your teeth into. That sounds like I'm going into my rebooking, but I'm not. So, yeah, there you go. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, it did a bit.
It did.
I get what you mean. I don't know. I think the Usos at this time, like, I get they're limited in the ring and whatever, but I think for the limits they had, they did really well with it.
Yeah.
And I think the stuff that they did with New Day in like 2017.
Really good.
Was phenomenal, yeah.
Also, the crowd wasn't really into that match.
No, but I think they started getting into it towards the kind of end of the first fall. Like, I was sitting there watching it, and when there was a near fall on, I think it was Gable, and I fully, like, had, like, a little pop. I was like, oh my god, like, he kicked out. Yeah. Like, I think it was after, like, a double super kick or something like that, and the Uso splash. And I was like, holy shit, like, this is 2 out of 3 falls. Like, that's supposed to be a fall. You know, it's like watching the Survivor Series traditional matches, and someone kicks out of a signature move. Yeah. And you're like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? We don't get a backstage segment next. We get an advertisement for WWE 24 WrestleMania Orlando. I really miss these documentaries. I know we've got like WWE Unreal now, but I feel like that I haven't watched it, but from what I've heard, it's so just heavy-handed with sort of scripting or agendas and stuff like that. Whereas these WWE 24 documentaries were so good. It would come up like, oh, immediately following the Royal Rumble tonight, this one's going to be airing. And you'd be like, oh, fuck yes. Like, you would look forward to these. Yeah. Because they would actually go in depth and you would see real things and real conversations and whatever. I wanted to point that out. Shouts out to the WWE 24 crew for those documentaries. Sorry that we now get Unreal. Anyway, enough of that shit. Here comes Mongo. It's time for the men's Royal Rumble match. Folks, strap the fuck in. I have got a lot of notes about this particular match. Go get yourself a drink of water. Go get a snack. Let's get on with it. We're off to a rough start, though, because Jerry Lawler is on commentary and being egregiously glazed by Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Yuck. They are just like, Lawler, you're amazing. Oh my god, you're so cool. However, business immediately does pick up because it's Rusev Day. Aiden English introduces the Bulgarian Brute, who is joined by Big Dick Finn Balor at number 2. Number 3, listen, I'm not going to go through every single move in a Royal Rumble match because so many of the moves in a Royal Rumble match are kick, punch, signature move, try and throw the guy over the top rope. Number 3 is Philly legend Rhino. He enters to loud EC-dub chants and takes off like a large animal in a delicate antiques shop. Number 4 is big, not yet baldy bastard Baron Corbin, who scores the first elimination by dumping out his one-time Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic partner, Rhino. Corbin, however, doesn't last much longer as he's then unceremoniously eliminated by Big Dick Balor. Corbin flies into a gamer rage and throws Balor into the ringside barricade before hitting Rusev with an end of days and then is escorted away by officials. Entrant number 5 is Father of the Year Heath Slater, who also tastes the wrath of the lone wolf, eating a clothesline on his way down to the ring before Corbin eventually gives up the ghost. Number 6 is Elias, who makes sure to get another lick in on Heath Slater on his way to the ring. He is alone in the ring now, and he tells the crowd that time is an illusion, which is very deep and low-key kind of true. The only thing that's real is the light within him, and he informs us all that the countdown clock will not begin again until he gives us all the performance of a lifetime. So he begins to strum his guitar and sing about how he hates Philly, and when he wins the Rumble, he's going to spit in the face of the Rocky statue. His performance is cut short, though, because number 7 is NXT champion Andrade Cien Almas. We are 24 hours removed from an absolute barn burner at NXT TakeOver against Johnny Gargano, and he arrives to a rapturous pop and flies down to the ring, kicking Heath Slater once again for good measure. After some fast-paced back and forth, Elias lays out Andrade with a lariat, and the timer begins again. Oftentimes, people don't know the difference between a lariat and a clothesline. Jack, do you know what the difference is between a lariat and a clothesline?
No, I don't actually.
According to Jamie Hayter, who is an expert in all things lariat, a lariat is a clothesline that you have to apologise for. So, genuinely, that has stuck in my mind since I've heard it, and I can now identify a lariat from a clothesline.
Nice.
Because I'll be like, ooh, that looked sore. That was really stiff. That's a lariat. So there you go.
Lovely.
Number 8 in the Royal Rumble is the late, great Bray Wyatt. Heath Slater almost makes it to his feet, but Bray decides to throw him into the ringside barrier before entering the fray and delivering a Uranagi to Elias. Bray goes for his sister Abigail on Elias, but Finn Balor's alarm goes off to wake him up, and he cuts off the Eater of Worlds, but eventually goes down to a stiff-looking clothesline. So that was the clothesline.
Nice.
Jerry Lawler, sorry to mention him, but Jerry Lawler on commentary says that Bray Wyatt, because they're talking about like making alliances during the Royal Rumble like they do every year, temporary alliances and whatever. Jerry Lawler says that Bray Wyatt has never made any friends since joining the WWE. Famously solo and never part of a faction, Bray Wyatt, folks. Alas, it's time to feel the power. Number 9 is Big E, and instead of piling on Heath Slater like everyone else, E gives the one-man band a handful of pancakes pulled straight from his singlet before getting into some fisticuffs with Bray Wyatt. Number 10 is the perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. However, he takes his time to appear on the entrance ramp because he's not there. We see backstage Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have kicked the shit out of him before Sami decides to take his place instead. And like 8 out of the 10 previous cats, Sami ensures Heath doesn't get into the ring. Number 11 is Sheamus, who decides it's finally time to get Heath Slater into the match. He throws Heath into the ring, but Heath immediately eliminates Sheamus to a huge pop before being Sister Abigail'd and dumped out himself by Bray Wyatt. The crowd went fucking apeshit for that spot, and I really liked it because they'd built it up for so long, and then Sheamus finally gets him in, and on his birthday is eliminated in like 3 or 4 seconds. Number 12 is Xavier Woods, and he's here to provide backup for Big E. And at this point, the ring is filling up with superstars. 8 men are now inside. It's time for lucky number 13, Apollo Crews. He takes Bray Wyatt down with an enziguri that Michael Cole calls a dropkick. Vintage Cole. Number 14 is Shinsuke Nakamura, who enters to a huge pop as he comes in like a house on fire while the crowd serenades him with his entrance music. Zayn misses a haluva kick on Shinsuke, which then leads to his elimination. And we're at the halfway point now. It's Cesaro. He hands out some meaty uppercuts before getting to work on Finn Balor and trying to eliminate him. Rusev and Cesaro begin trading some heavy blows in the middle of the ring as number 16 enters the fray, Kofi Kingston, and the New Day are now all involved in this one. Kofi, however, immediately runs into an uppercut from Cesaro, and after being almost eliminated by a military press slam from Crews, the future Death Rider eliminates Apollo himself. Number 17 is former WWE champion Jinder Mahal. He's entering his first ever Royal Rumble match, according to Michael Cole, but Jinder also appeared in the 2012 and 2013 editions of the Rumble. Now, Cole would later go on to correct himself and say that this was actually his second Rumble, which is still wrong. Jinder eliminates both Xavier Woods and Big E in quick succession. Number 18 is here, and it's Burn It Down! It's Seth Rollins, who hits multiple sling blades on everyone because that's kind of just what he does. But he eliminates Cesaro with a really cool looking monkey flip. Kofi and Jinder are now having a titanic tussle, both trying to eliminate each other. Jinder throws Kofi over the top rope, but Kofi's right foot lands on Xavier Woods' chest. Big E then puts a plate of pancakes on the floor for Kofi to rest his foot on and try to return to the ring, but Jinder is kind of blocking the way. He's like moving side to side, trying to make sure that Kofi doesn't get back in. Big E and Xavier then lock hands, and Kofi springs back into the ring over Jinder's head and eliminates the modern-day Maharaja, who is showered in pancakes for his sins. That was such a cool way to get him back in the ring. The elevation that he gets to go from the floor to above the apron to above the ropes, which are like those 3 ropes together, they're like 5'6", 5'7". That's a bit of height. And then also get over Jinder's head and then land in the ring, eliminate Jinder. Very cool. The celebrations, however, don't last long because Andrade hits Kofi with a Future Shock DDT and eliminates him. Thanks for coming, Kofi. You had your spot. Time to go. Number 19 is Woken Matt Hardy, who believes in pronouns and universal healthcare. He comes face to face with Bray Wyatt, but the encounter is broken up. The fans were baying for this. However, both men put their differences aside and team up to delete Rusev from the match on Rusev Day. The alliance, however, doesn't last long, and they eventually come to blows, eliminating each other from the match. Now we get to number 20, where we're starting to get into the business end of things. And it's John Cena, who sprints into the ring but is immediately ganged up on by all of the remaining men in the ring. Cena eventually breaks free and quickly eliminates Elias before entrant number 21 joins us. And you better stand back, because there's a hurricane coming through. The Hurricane attempts a chokeslam on John Cena, which is easily blocked, and Cena makes quick work of the superhero, eliminating him too. Now it's time for number 22, and when I say business is about to pick up, it's none other than the Shakespeare of song, the Mozart of melee, the Handel of harm, the Beethoven of beatdowns, the Tchaikovsky of chokeholds. It's 8 in English. At number 23, it's another NXT participant. It's Adam Cole, baby. He's donning tape across his midsection due to injuries sustained during his match the previous night with Aleister Black at TakeOver. Incredible fucking match, by the way. Probably one that we will end up reviewing at some point. Up on the top rope, Aiden English is gearing up for a flying nothing, but Finn Balor meets him with a kick, and Rusev Day has officially come to an end. Number 24 is Randy Orton, who takes Adam Cole down with a power slam before attempting an RKO on John Cena, who pushes him away into an enziguri from Andrade. Andrade springboards back into the ring and is met with an RKO before being tossed out to end his chance at going to WrestleMania. By the way, fair play to Andrade. He had a very strong showing during this Rumble. I think he was in there for over half an hour, which after having however long his match with Gargano was the night before, to then come in and do that. Props to him.
Yeah.
Speaking of business picking up once again, number 25 is Titus O'Neil. Yes, he half-heartedly attempts to eliminate Adam Cole, and for a moment the arena genuinely holds its breath because it actually looks like it's going to happen for a second. And then he just kind of like gives up and walks away. Number 26 is The Miz. However, he enters to somewhat of a hero's welcome, having beaten Roman Reigns for the IC title on Raw the previous Monday. He comes in and does Miz things. Number 27 is Rey Mysterio. He's back in the WWE after 4 years away, and he has one thing on his mind: compete in the WWE World Cup to determine the best in the world. Rey shows that he's still got it by quickly eliminating Adam Cole and hitting a 619 on The Miz. The clock ticks down to reveal number 28, and the chorus of boos that threaten to level the Wells Fargo Arena can confirm that it's the big dog, Roman Reigns, on his way to the ring. He clears house before coming face to face with his mortal enemy, and mine, The Miz. The big dog gets the best of the A-lister before tossing Titus O'Neil over the top rope when he tries to get involved in the melee. Reigns tries to eliminate The Miz, but Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, the Miztourage, come to his rescue before eating a two-man Superman punch. Rollins, who, yes, remember Seth Rollins? He's still in this match. He hits The Miz with a curb stomp. And look, everyone, it's the Shield. The Shield. Remember the Shield? Shield chair. Shield fist. Shield bomb. It's the Shield. The Shield. Rollins and Reigns are teaming up just like the Shield. The Miz is powerbombed over the top rope and down to the floor. Shield. Roman then turns on Rollins. Unlike what happened in the Shield when Rollins turned on Roman, He tosses him over the top rope, and Seth sees the funny side in it because he's a babyface now. This pissed me off because you are so close to the end of the Rumble. You get eliminated and you're like, ugh, you got me. No, fuck you. I was so close to winning this thing. I'm not seeing the funny side in this. Number 29 is Goldust, who is entering his 12th Royal Rumble match. I did Google this. Michael Cole was correct. So good for him. He got one thing right on this night. Goldust does his usual, inverted atomic drops and uppercuts. It's now time for number 30. And who could it be? Is it Kenny Omega? Is it Ricochet? Is it a returning Batista? No, it's Dolph Ziggler, who a month ago relinquished his United States Championship and seemingly walked away from the WWE, stating that the fans don't deserve him. So here he is, having drastically changed his mind within a month. Dolph immediately goes after John Cena, and after avoiding an AA, hits Cena with a super kick, delivers one to Randy Orton, and then eliminates Goldust with a third. To be fair, I talked a lot of shit about Dolph. He got a pretty good reaction when he came out, because people liked him around this time, I guess.
Yeah.
I was still trying to hold on to my Dolph Ziggler fandom around 2018, but when number 30 of the Royal Rumble is a guy who fucked off a month ago, abandoning the United States Championship, it's like, do you really care? Dolph's comeback lasts a whopping 2 minutes and 1 second as he's eliminated from the apron by Finn Balor after being thrown over the top rope by Shinsuke Nakamura. We are now down to our final 6. It's Finn Balor, who has been in since number 2, Shinsuke Nakamura, Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, and Randy Orton, who stare each other down in the middle of the ring. It's the old guard versus the new. Mysterio catches Reigns with a 619, Cena hits Finn with an AA, and Orton downs Nakamura with an RKO. The old dogs have still got some fight in them. Orton attempts an RKO on Cena, but is pushed away, right into the path of Reigns, who eliminates him. Thanks for coming, Randy. See you in the Fatal 4-Way for the United States title at WrestleMania. Ray hits a 1238, that's what I'm calling a double 619, on Reigns and Cena. He hits a seated senton on Cena and then is fucked over the top rope by Finn Balor. We're down to our final 4. We then get a long stare down between the Indian Darlings and the WWE Golden Boys before they all come to blows. As the crowd chants, "You both suck," at Cena and Reigns, Cena yells, "Shinsuke, now!" And Shinsuke and Finn attack Reigns and Cena to huge applause. Finn and Shinsuke have some back and forth, and after nearly eliminating each other a couple of times, Cena and Reigns are back to their feet. They begin exchanging blows, which gets big boos. Cena begins going for his 5 moves of doom, but Reigns cuts him off with a Samoan drop, and now he's the only man in the ring on his feet. Cena attempts a 5-knuckle shuffle on Reigns, but he's cut off by Finn Balor and a sling blade. After a final McFlurry, Cena dumps Finn over the top rope, and after 57 minutes and 38 seconds, Finn Balor's night has come to an end. Cena and Reigns begin double-teaming Shinsuke, and the Philly crowd start getting flashbacks to 3 years ago. Cena finally hits the 5 moves of doom on Reigns. Cena can't get the AA off on Reigns, however, but the Samoan knocks him down with a Superman punch. His attempted spear gets turned into an AA from Cena, however, and Shinsuke from behind attempts an exploder suplex. Cena reverses it, and hearts are firmly in mouths as Cena looks to suplex Nakamura over the top rope. Another reversal as Shinsuke gets Cena over the top and eliminates him with the Kinshasa. We are down to 2. It is officially best case scenario versus worst case scenario as Roman Reigns and Shinsuke Nakamura face off. Both men trade blows. I wrote monetarily. I meant to say momentarily. Following another Superman punch from Roman, he throws Shinsuke over the top, but Nakamura lands on the apron, much to the relief of 99% of the people watching. Shinsuke locks Roman in a triangle choke over the top, but Reigns breaks free, powerbombing Shinsuke back into the ring, and now both men are down. Reigns is setting up Shinsuke for a spear in the corner, but a kick from the King of Strong Style stops his momentum. Shinsuke climbs to the top rope and hits Roman with a flying knee to the side of the head. Shinsuke measures up Roman for a Kinshasa, but the big dog flies into him with a spear. Roman hoists Shinsuke up and attempts to eliminate him, but Nakamura fights him off. Both men then hit the ropes looking for their finishers, and Nakamura is the quickest on the draw, wiping out Reigns with the Kinshasa. Shinsuke hoists Reigns up by his belt and tosses him over the top rope, and after 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 27 seconds, Shinsuke Nakamura is heading to the 9th match on the card of WrestleMania 34. Renee Young steps in the ring to congratulate Shinsuke and ask if he's made a decision about who he will challenge at WrestleMania. Shinsuke announces that he will face AJ Styles at the show of shows. Whew. Jack, I went high for this one. I went 4.75 for this Rumble match. I had a fucking blast. And even watching it back 8 years later, it got down to like the final 3 or 4 and my heart was like thumping. Like, oh my God, what if I've misremembered it? Like, there's so many like close calls and like big moves. And I remember watching it live at the time as well and just being like, there's no way. Because we knew that the plan was AJ versus Shinsuke and also Brock versus Roman. So it was like, well, they could give it to Roman because they're setting up for Brock v. Roman. They're not going to give us what we want, surely. And they fucking did. I had a great time with this Rumble. I thought it was booked really well. It was kind of, it was wrapped up neatly in each, like, it had like different phases of the Rumble. Like you had kind of the first 10 being like your fun, goofy character guys, like, the Heath Slater moment. Then 11 to 20 was like, here are your mid-carders where we'll get like some action going on between them. You get your fun Kofi spot. And then 20 to 30 is like, okay, we're hitting the home stretch, the business end. Titus O'Neil is here now. Shit's getting serious. So I'm going to hand it off to you because my mouth is really dry.
Yeah. So I went 4.5. So very, very similar to you. I had a fucking blast with it. Both 8 years ago and re-watching it now. It was a great Rumble and it was booked really well, especially after the mess of 2015, which we alluded to, that was in the the same city and everything. Much better Rumble, much better outcome, much more natural. And the stories made sense. You had a lot of interweaving as well. Like you got the references to the tag team matches still upcoming for Seth and everything, and how that will affect his conditioning. Yeah. You had the Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt stuff, who ended up eliminating each other. You had the Heath Slater thing as the comedy bit. Ty Dillinger even like about to come out at 10, similar to 2017, but then someone else replaces him. Like that's great. It's all about like you're not wasting a moment of storytelling, are you? You're getting everyone's getting a little bit of shine. Even just seeing Ty Dillinger's name up and the crowd reaction, that's still some stock going into Ty Dillinger, even if he doesn't come out. Yeah. Like it's great. Great to see Rhino. Finn Balor had a fucking star-making performance. It was his first ever Rumble match as well, and it was he was insane. He was great. Yeah, shit to see Jerry Lawler on commentary, and he wasn't really on form, to say the least. Yeah, and the whole Rusev Day stuff, great. The New Day stuff, amazing. Really, the first time in a while that I've actually noticed the matching gear of wrestlers, because the New Day's gear was really loud and in a good way, like, and they were all matching. It's lovely to see Adam Cole out sporting the tape around his ribs, selling the NXT Philadelphia match that he had the night before. That was great, and great to see him coming in. Ziggler was a bit of a damp squib at 30. Nobody ever wants to see The Miz, but you are getting into the business end, and I guess The Miz can be treated as a main eventer when they are in dire straits. Good to see Randy as well. Yeah. The Hurricane coming out was nice to see. John Cena played his role really fucking well in this Rumble. Like, he was almost like
he did
playing a heel basically in the Rumble, and it was great. Mysterio's return looking like $1 million as well, amazing. And then Nakamura. Fucking hell, man. A motivated Nakamura, which he was right now, is the best wrestler you could ever hope for. It was like lightning in a bottle. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand. He was charismatic. He could back it up in the ring. I mean, yeah, it was a shame, the final match that we got at WrestleMania between AJ and Nakamura, which you would expect a lot more from. But yeah, 4.5 out of 5. I fucking had an amazing time. I probably took off 0.25 because of the commentary desk. I don't know why you would need a 4-man booth for any sort of commentary.
So bad.
They were all trying, and like, I guess rightly so, yeah, they're trying to get their sound bites in and shit, but you need to reduce the amount of people trying to fucking talk over each other. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Those are my thoughts.
We both talk shit about The Miz there, but at this time, The Miz was over as Rover.
Yeah, he was.
Because he was still riding on that fucking Talking Smack segment from like a year and a half previous. Then there was the whole Miztourage stuff. He obviously beat Reigns for the IC title. It makes sense. But yeah, it didn't really feel like there was any kind of wasted spots or kind of like, oh, well, why didn't they give this guy a spot? Like everyone, well, not everyone, Titus O'Neil didn't. But, you know, it felt like everyone had reason for being in the match or at least served a purpose in the match, like had some sort of a spot, wasn't just kind of a body in there, which I feel like has kind of happened in the last few years. And also, it's nice to be able to recognize who's coming out by their entrance music.
That's the thing. But to be fair, I will say though, Cesaro came out to some awful sirens and the Titantron was just a word art red titling of the bar. What the fuck are you doing there? Well, no, I know we knew who it was, but like, oh god.
Yeah, that wasn't great. But it's nice the countdown goes off and it doesn't just go Austin Theory and then, you know, just like generic 3 chords with like some electronic music in the background. So I enjoyed that too. But yeah, you could take this Rumble as sort of a blueprint and a template almost for future Royal Rumbles, because it was just, you know, obviously not perfect. I gave it 4.75, but it was so neatly done and tightly packaged, and I love a tight package. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Moving on, it feels weird to like leave that behind because I put so much of my heart and soul into it. But we have a backstage segment. Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan are gloating about Shinsuke's win, of course. Kurt Angle says hats off to Shinsuke, but there's still plenty of opportunity for Raw to impress. Now, inventor of women's wrestling, Stephanie McMahon, says there's no doubt a woman from Raw will win the first ever historic, groundbreaking, game-changing, history-making first ever Women's Royal Rumble. She concludes by saying that whatever happens, everyone will be pleasantly surprised. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. This was awkward as fuck. None of these people, there's siblings in this segment, and yet none of these people have chemistry with each other. But it's time, everyone shut the fuck up. It's time for the Colonel KFC Rumble. Rusev, Miz, Mojo Rawley, Heath Slater, Titus O'Neil, Goldust, and Breezango are all competing to become the next Colonel or something. But Ric Flair is back in a WWE ring for the first time in 10 years to dump out The Miz and Rusev to win and become the next KFC sandwich. Good for him, I guess. Does this count as Rick like breaking his WWE retirement?
Oh, I'll be honest, Sam, I don't want to discuss this.
At least it wasn't in Saudi Arabia. So I gave this one 3.75. I'm joking.
No, I'll fuck it. He took a massive shit on his wrestling career anyway, so we might as well count it.
Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus Thebar is next for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This match is thoroughly in the death spot.
Yes.
The crowd are jaded and drained after the catharsis of Ric Flair's Colonel Rumble win. So best of luck to these guys trying to work this crowd. We do get some good back and forth between Rollins and Cesaro to start this one off. Obviously Rollins is tired. He spent quite a while in the Rumble match. Cesaro was in there for a little bit as well. Jason Jordan was not in the Rumble, and Sheamus was in there for half a second. So you've got like 2 fresh guys and 2 guys who spent a bit of time in there. Rollins gets the upper hand over Cesaro after some really nice deep arm drags and a Hurricane Rana on Cesaro. Cesaro tags in Sheamus, who also can't get the upper hand, but eventually Rollins is pulled into Thebar's corner and they begin to double team Seth. Booker T, okay, right. So Booker T is on commentary for this one, and I felt so bad for Booker T here because it's literally just the entire match is Corey Graves and Michael Cole teaming up on Booker T to like try and make him sound like a fool. But Booker T makes a point on commentary, and a really solid point. Seth was going to tag in Jason Jordan, But Jason Jordan gets distracted by Cesaro kind of like starting to move towards him. So Jason Jordan moves away from the tag rope, which means that Seth was not able to tag in, and it gets him in trouble. Booker T's like, he shouldn't be getting distracted by that. Like, that's a rookie mistake. And Cole and Graves are like, oh, it's not Jason Jordan's fault. He hasn't even been in the match yet. And it's like, no, Booker is completely in the right here. And he's like actually calling the story beats of the match while Corey and Michael Cole are sucking each other off. That's a thing that happened in the match that the commentators are supposed to pick up on and be like, oh, well, look, Jason Jordan, which, by the way, also, this rookie error thing, Jason Jordan is an accomplished tag team wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he getting distracted by Cesaro moving towards him? He's an idiot. And Booker T is fully in the right to, like, call that out and be like, he shouldn't be doing that. Like, your tag partner, who has been in the Rumble for, like, 35 minutes before this, is looking to get some help. And you're just like, oh, there's someone over there. Anyway, Rollins almost gets the tag to Jordan, but Cesaro pulls the youngster off the apron and throws him into the turnbuckle outside the ring. Sheamus misses a brogue kick and flies over the top rope where Seth meets both of them with a tope suicida. Rollins goes to check on his downed partner, which lets Thebar take control. Booker then says, there's no timeouts in tag team wrestling. To which Corey responds, there's no tag teams ever in wrestling. Obviously misspoke. And then Booker just like snaps at him and goes, I said no timeouts. And Corey is like laughing and being like, I said timeouts, Book. He didn't. Anyway, the ringside doctors are checking on Jason Jordan, who looks like me on weekday mornings when I didn't want to go to school. Just like, oh yeah, no, I'm in a really bad way. Just ignore the fact that the Xbox is already on. I really don't feel well. Anyway, Seth is in deep waters now with Thebar, and they're tagging in and out in quick succession to stay in control of this one. Again, Booker makes a valid point by saying that Rollins is stranded in this match, and he makes a reference to Gilligan's Island. He's like, Seth is stranded in this one. It's like Gilligan's Island, a show about castaways who were shipwrecked and stranded on an island. Corey says that there were a bunch of people on Gilligan's Island. And Booker T asks, so what's your point? Because what is your point, Corey? Even if there was multiple people on the island, they're all still fucking stranded, are they not? Are they there by choice, Corey? Shut the fuck up and pay attention to your wife. Rollins is trying to fight back, but every time his momentum is cut short by some double teaming from the challengers, as Jason Jordan is at ringside trying to shake off the cobwebs. Thebar miss a big double team move which allows Rollins time to recuperate and begin his fight back, hitting Cesaro with a sling blade, shocker, I know, and a blockbuster to create some breathing room. Rollins hits Cesaro with a Falcon Arrow, and somehow, some way, the Swiss Superman kicks out. No one kicks out of the Falcon Arrow. Sheamus attempts a white noise on Seth from the top, but Seth knocks him down before tossing Cesaro into the ring alongside him and hitting both men with a frog splash. Jason Jordan has finally made his way to the apron and tags in, but he doesn't have the wherewithal to know what to do next, so he tags back out and sits on the steps holding his head. Sheamus then hits Seth with a brogue kick, followed up by a white noise / neck breaker with the assist from Cesaro, and Thebar get the pin and win in 12 minutes and 50 seconds. 2.75. That's what I went for this one. It was fine. The crowd was dead, obviously, because like you've just come after the fucking Rumble. So whoever was going to be in this spot was going to have to like try and get the crowd going by any means necessary. And I think at points they did do, like, I think Seth actually did a really good job in this match. I love to talk shit on Seth Rollins, but I think he did really well here. He played up the whole being stranded, like on Gilligan's Island character well, and Jason Jordan being a little bitch after being thrown into the ring post, as everyone on a fucking episode of Monday Night Raw receives. But anyway, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, I gave it 2.5 out of 5. I just thought I'd give it just very middle of the road because it was a pretty bang average match. It was fine. Always nice to see the bar winning, but the match's story probably, yeah, it felt a little bit weird. And yeah, obviously the crowd wasn't super into it. But yeah, I just wasn't keen on the whole Jason Jordan's being a little bitch at ringside little story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. I mean, I guess the compliment you could give it is that it wasn't really similar to the handicap match or the other tag match. So they were all a little bit different,
Yes.
which is fine. But yeah, it was just bang average. So yeah, middle of the road for me.
Next up, we have the Beast versus the Monster versus the Machine. It's the Universal Championship. It's Kane, for some reason, versus Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar. Now, here's a little Elden Ring nerd thing. The first initials of the competitors in this match spell out BBK, which is the initials for the Blackblade Kindred boss in Elden Ring. And to any Elden Ring nerds listening out there, I've just caused some Vietnam-esque flashbacks. Anyway, it's a monster mash. Braun Strowman is running wild out there, but he hits Lesnar with a knee to the jaw, which is a big fucking mistake because Brock immediately becomes pissed and prints out a receipt for Strowman in the shape of some, what I think genuinely may have been like shoot body shots, and then a thump to the fucking ear. Kane is here too. He hoists Lesnar up before gently laying him back down with a chokeslam. It genuinely looked like he was tucking Lesnar into bed with this. Lesnar rolls out, and now Strowman can focus on the devil's favorite demon. Lesnar reappears with a chair and whacks Kane with it. Strowman punches the chair out of Lesnar's hand before leveling him with a lariat that had some extra sauce on it. I don't think he apologized for that one. Strowman has the steel ring steps in hand and lays waste to both of his opponents on the outside. Braun then pulls 2 tables from under the ring and begins setting them up inside the ring. Kane attempts a chokeslam on Braun, but Braun hits him with one of his own. One of his own! Braun covers Kane, but Lesnar is in it too to break it up, sending Strowman on a short little weekend trip to Suplex City. Strowman recovers quickly, however, and power slams Brock through a table before his cover is broken up by Kane. Strowman attempts to slam Kane through the table that's leaning against the corner, but Kane escapes and gently pushes Braun through the table. Kane hits Strowman with a chokeslam, but Lesnar breaks it up and hits Kane with an F5. Strowman hoists Lesnar up with a waistlock and German suplexes him out of the ring. That was really fucking impressive, because that was like dead weight, Lesnar sandbagging Strowman, and Strowman still managed to fuck him underneath the bottom rope. Not in that way. Fuck him as in toss him, you dirty bastards. Braun leaves the ring and makes a beeline for Brock, tossing the Universal Champion into the barricade. Strowman then prepares the German announce table for the arrival of Brock's carcass, but the Beast recovers and F5 Strowman through it instead. Lesnar then lifts up the English announce table and buries Strowman underneath it. Kane is back again to remind us all he's still here. He once again attempts a chokeslam on Lesnar, but it gets reversed into an F5, onto and eventually through the Spanish announce desk. Strowman emerges from beneath the wreckage of the announce table and gets Lesnar back in the ring, hitting him with 2 running power slams before Kane comes back in with a chair to ruin everyone's fun, knocking Braun out of the ring. Kane sets up Brock for a tombstone, but shock horror, he doesn't pull it off. Lesnar reverses it into an F5 and pins Kane to retain in 10:55. Obviously, Kane was here as the fall guy.
Yep.
I went 3.25 for this. I don't know, it just felt kind of weird. Like, why the fuck is Kane competing for the Universal Championship? And also, why are we supposed to believe that Kane is any form of threat to either Lesnar or Strowman? And all he does in this match is try to hit people with choke slams and they get reversed. That's his role, is like, maybe he's going to do something and then doesn't do the thing. But I thought Braun looked really good in this one. Obviously, they kept him strong by not having him take the pin and have him be like out of the ring. And then they did the whole spot where Lesnar buries him under the table and he's just like gets back up like Michael Myers type shit. Yeah, it was, it was decent. There was some fun weapon spots. But yeah, I don't think it was any more than a 3.25. If anything, it might have been a 3, but I'll stick with 3.25. What do you think?
I gave it 2.5. Essentially, these are 3 guys that back in 2018 I didn't really care much for, and I care even less for each of them now. So they're also fighting for a title that I never gave a fuck about in the first place, and is only relevant due to being held by Roman Reigns for like 4 years and then merged back with the WWE title. So who fucking cares? But I mean, listen, I gave it an average score because it did have some positives. It was a fast Hoss fight. and it was meaty men slapping meat, and there were weapons, and fair play to them, they put their bodies on the line. Each of them went through a table pretty much, so yeah, fine. Braun clocking Brock in the temple with his knee, and then Brock giving him the receipt was fun. Yeah, that's literally all I can say about it, apart from Kane being in a world title match in 2018 was crazy fucking work. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
Jack, it's now time. It's the Women's Royal Rumble match.
That's Sam realising that my rebooking is the Women's Rumble match.
This is going to be a long one, isn't it? We're going to be here for days.
No, it's not a long rebooking, but I'll come to it at the end. I just loved your realisation.
So, as JoJo is in the ring explaining the rules, the camera's cut to a fan holding a sign that says "About Time," which I think is a really odd thing for WWE to want to highlight. To be like, yeah, look at our own fans calling us out for not being in the 21st century until fucking now. The world's first woman, Maria Menounos, is the guest ring announcer, and she is here to introduce former WWE Women's Champion, and remember folks, inventor of women's wrestling, Stephanie McMahon. Maria Menounos, her voice is... She doesn't have a voice for ring announcing. Leave it to leave it to JoJo. Why does Maria Menounos need to be involved here? JoJo, the ring announcer, is a woman. But we needed Maria Menounos.
Yes.
For some reason. What does she actually do? Is she like a TV presenter?
Yeah, I think a presenter or a personality or something like that. And she's fallen into wrestling somehow.
Like a Ryan Seacrest type?
Yeah, probably. Yes, similar, I would guess. But I mean, she seems harmless enough, but yes, please don't announce.
Yeah, she seems fine. But yeah, like you don't have the voice for... Yeah. Anyway, so Stephanie's here. And Michael Cole and Corey Graves nearly choke on the strap-on while they glaze her about how integral and how much of a trailblazer she has been, and how basically if it wasn't for her, women's wrestling wouldn't fucking exist. Like they genuinely stop just short of saying that. Ridiculous. Next, we're introduced to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions, who will sit at ringside for this match, and luckily, they aren't too banged up after their title matches earlier on. Never mind. Yeah, sorry. On this historic night all about women, neither of the women's world champions defended their world championships. Cool. But, you know, we got both of the tag titles on the line. Time for entrant number 1. And what time is it, Jack? It's boss time! Number 2 is Becky Lynch. So we have 2 megastars to kick things off. Perfect. And obviously these 2 women know each other inside and out, so we have a fast start to kick things off as they both go for their signature submission moves before taking each other out with stereo clotheslines as the countdown hits 0, and we're joined by Sarah Logan. Michael Cole on commentary says she has a very interesting background, and having looked at her social media activity, I would tend to agree. Anyway, Mandy Rose is in at number 4, and Corey Graves becomes a Jerry Lawler impersonator for a time. This is a man who cheated on his wife with Carmella, and now Carmella, his current partner, is also in this match while he's drooling over another woman. Stay classy, Corey. But anyway, it's time for our first surprise entrant. At number 5, it's Lita. The crowd pops pretty fucking hard, and she has a stare down with Sasha and Becky as Cole recounts her Monday Night Raw main event against Trish Stratus, which happened on my 8th birthday. December 6th, 2004 was the first ever all-women's main event on Monday Night Raw. The 2 horsewomen try to double-team the Hall of Famer, but she fights back before taking out Mandy Rose and Sarah Logan. Lita gets the first elimination of the Rumble, and the first ever historic, never-before-done elimination in a women's Rumble, as she dumps Mandy Rose off the apron and down to the floor. Number 6, and it's one of the biggest fumbles in WWE history. It's Kairi Sane. Kairi comes in and puts everyone on notice, delivering an insane elbow to Sasha Banks. As number 7, Tamina, makes her way down, Kairi delivers another elbow to Becky Lynch. Commentary big up Tamina as a threat. However, her 2017 win-loss record was, get this, 15 wins, 88 losses.
Wow.
Everyone better be... beware. She hits everyone with some thrust kicks before Lita plants her with a DDT, before a twist of fate for Sasha and then Becky, before climbing up top and hitting a double moonsault on them both. Lita goads Tamina into running at her, sending her over the top rope. There goes the massive threat that is Tamina. But Becky Lynch sends her following in Tamina's footsteps after a solid showing. Sorry, I should say Lita was eliminated by Becky Lynch there, not Becky Lynch being eliminated. Number 8 is Dana Brooke, who enters and shows off her gymnastics background with impressive agility before eliminating Kairi Sane, which I thought was fucking nuts. Number 9 is Tori Wilson, who looks in phenomenal shape, but she hasn't done a lick of wrestling training in the last decade or so. Wilson does, however, eliminate Dana Brooke with a low drop kick while Brooke is standing on the apron. So the woman who just eliminated Kairi Sane has been eliminated by Tori Wilson. So the hierarchy here goes Kairi Sane, Dana Brooke, Tori Wilson. So that's good to know. Number 10 is everyone's second favourite lesbian behind me, Sonya Deville, who goes straight after Sasha Banks with some rapid strikes on the boss in the corner before being intercepted by Becky Lynch. After struggling to follow Sonya's Irish whip into the corner, Tori eventually gets hoisted over the top rope and a high kick from Deville ends her night. So it goes Kairi Sane, Dana Brooke, Tori Wilson, Sonya Deville. Lesbians stay on top. Number 11 is Liv Morgan. She's nowhere near the popularity she would reach a few years down the line, and the crowd reaction is kind of a telling sign. The Gooners haven't quite got to her yet, but don't worry, they will. Logan and Morgan team up to eliminate Sasha Banks, but Becky Lynch gets in the way and starts working over Logan. In at number 12 is Molly Holly. She delivers a picture-perfect snap suplex to Becky Lynch before eliminating Sarah Logan, who has just enough time now to make it to her KKK rally. So good for her. Molly Holly has still very much got it as she takes out Sasha Banks from the top rope. Number 13 is Lana. She jumps in the ring and is immediately swarmed by Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville. Both women begin toying with Lana, but she's had enough, slapping Sonya in the face and pouncing on Liv Morgan. Number 14 is Michelle McCool, who ducks under a double clothesline and delivers a big boot to Lana. Michelle makes light work of Sonya Deville. So we go Kairi Sane, Dana Brooke, Tori Wilson, Sonya Deville, Michelle McCool. Sounds about right. Perfect for the politicking that no doubt happened backstage. She also eliminates Liv Morgan for an early shower. Molly Holly tries to ambush her, but Michelle McCool is wise to it and eliminates her too. Of course, no one can catch Michelle McCool out, folks. She's too good. Lana is Michelle McCool's next victim, and Undertaker's wife now has 4 eliminations, and I bet Mean Mark had nothing to do with that whatsoever. Number 15 is Ruby Riott, who almost immediately gets eliminated about 3 times but stays alive. Corey Graves turns to Stephanie and asks her who's impressed her the most so far, to which Stephanie responds, I'm no word of a lie. Corey is like, who's impressed you so far, Steph? This is Stephanie's response. Well, I have always loved the Royal Rumble match, but I think I love the Women's Rumble even more. Cheers, Steph. Give us absolutely nothing, Queen. We're past the halfway point now, and number 16 is Vicky Guerrero. She comes to the ring howling and shrieking and doing her Karen impression. And you know what they say about the best wrestling characters? How they're just your own personality turned up a little bit. After that whole debacle with her daughter a few years ago, I fully believe that that's the case with Vicky Guerrero. She demands that the 4 women in the ring listen to her, but they've heard enough already, and she gets dumped over the top very gently. She still somehow manages to fall in a way that almost breaks her ankles, though. Number 17 is Miss Money in the Bank Carmella, and an enraged Vicky Guerrero snatches the briefcase out of Carmella's hands and clocks her in the back of the head with it, laying her out. Number 18 is Bret Hart. Oh, no, it's Natalya. She dumps her glasses and entrance jacket on Carmella, who takes exception to it and pulls the Canadian off the apron before entering herself and leveling Michelle McCool with a thrust kick. Number 19 is Kelly Kelly, who somehow is still 31 years of age at this point. When she was doing that stuff in ECW where she was getting her boobies out, she was 19 years of age, which feels very weird. Predatory men and what have you. She does get almost immediately eliminated by Natalya, but manages to hang on. And after delivering the clunkiest looking Hurricane Rana of your life to Michelle McCool, she provides the assist for Natalya to eliminate the world's least favorite podcast co-host. It's time to feel the glow. Number 20 is Naomi, who flies in and takes out Carmella, Ruby, Natalya, and Tori Wilson before getting into a tangle with her future tag team partner, Sasha Banks. Natalya is attempting to eliminate Tori Wilson, but Becky again intervenes and hits her with a Bexploder suplex. Now, this is something I don't understand why this kept happening. It happened like 3 times with Becky, and then it would happen multiple times with other people, where someone would be trying to eliminate, a competitor from the match, and they would just come up and stop the elimination and hit the person who was doing. And it's like, why? What is your emotional attachment to this person? You have none. Why are you doing this? It's not like you've never watched a Royal Rumble before or know how the rules work. It was just very annoying. But anyway, after over half an hour in the match, Becky is eliminated by Ruby Riott. Number 21 is Jacqueline, looking like an ant who's about had enough after a couple of glasses of Sauvy B. Number 22 is Nia Jax, who immediately and with ease eliminates both Kelly Kelly and Jacqueline. Ruby Riott attempts to go toe-to-toe with the Irresistible Force, but instead gets press-slammed onto the top turnbuckle and tossed to the floor. Naomi runs in and with some quick kicks manages to stagger Nia Jax, but Nia scoops her up and powerbombs her over the top rope. However, Naomi lands on the sea of bodies outside and manages to make her way onto the barricade. As number 23 enters, it's the forever Ring of Honor champion, Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon. Much like Adam Cole earlier on tonight, she's taped up thanks to her battle with Shayna Baszler the previous night, but she gets right to work on Nia Jax. Naomi tightrope walks along the barricade while this is happening, forcing Maria Menounos out of her chair. She walks on her hands back to the ringside steps and is still alive. Naomi climbs to the top rope and attempts to splash on Nia Jax, who catches her and dumps her over the top rope anyway. I don't like that they 2 Rumbles in a row, and maybe this happens every time, but you have like the really cool save spot, and then the person gets back in the ring and then just immediately gets eliminated anyway. Like, why? And especially like Naomi this is the woman who the previous year at WrestleMania won the women's championship. So like surely she can survive a little bit longer, no?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Number 24 now is the only woman to have competed in a men's Rumble match and made an elimination. It's Beth Phoenix. She gets right in the face of Nia Jax and the 2 powerhouses row down. Beth attempts twice to get Nia onto her shoulders but can't quite manage it. Now this is another thing that bothers me. I'm sorry. But these women, right? Nia Jax, she's a large woman, okay? However, someone like Beth Phoenix can surely lift someone the size of Nia Jax. Beth Phoenix is fucking jacked as fuck. If John Cena can lift the Big Show, Beth Phoenix can lift Nia Jax.
I'd agree.
Natalya reappears now at this point to fight alongside Phoenix, and the 2 women send Nia through the second rope. So she's not eliminated, she's gone through the second rope. She has to go over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. Just in case you didn't know the rules of a Royal Rumble, I'll explain them another 30 or so times. Natalya then turns on Beth and dumps her out of the ring. Number 25, and business has most certainly picked the fuck up. It's Asuka. She gives a few women a taste of her vicious strikes before she comes face to face with the NXT champion as the crowd hots up. Ember hits an eclipse on Asuka, but her bad arm comes into play and Asuka is able to eliminate the champ. Number 26 is the childhood crush of millions around the world, including myself. It's Mickie James. She comes in with a seated senton on Asuka, followed by a neckbreaker on Sasha Banks. Number 27 is Nikki Bella, who clears house while the crowd chants, John Cena sucks. It's always good to reduce women to their partners and the things that they do. Alas, Carmella gets sent out to the apron and Nikki hangs her up on the top rope to eliminate her. Brie mode! Number 28 is Brie Bella to provide backup for her sister. She gets a yes chant because her husband. She hits everyone with V-triggers. Not the best looking V-triggers, but I'm pretty sure those were V-triggers. Number 29 is Disgruntled Employee of the Year for the last probably 3 years running. It's Bayley. She takes out the Bellas, Natalya and Mickie James before heading for Asuka. Number 30 is none other than Trish Stratus, because who else would possibly have been number 30 in this match? She takes out both Bellas with a double Stratusfaction. Time for a bit of nostalgia, as Trish and Mickie are in the ring with each other now. Michael Cole, in vintage fashion, however, has to trample all over the moment by saying, I just got goosebumps, guys! And it's like, just shut the fuck up. Just let this thing happen organically without you or Corey or Stephanie having to fucking ruin it.
What a moment.
Yeah, this is a Rumble moment, TM. Mickie James delivers a wicked right hand that I wish I could put on the jaw of Michael Cole. Mickie goes up top and blocks a head scissors from Trish, but Trish delivers a chick kick and James is eliminated. Nia Jax cleans Trish's clock and then gets ambushed by everyone else in the ring, but she fights them all off before delivering a battle cry, which gives her a 20% damage boost. Asuka and Trish deliver high kicks to Jax before the Bellas start pulling her over the top rope, and then everyone gets involved to eliminate her and her race is done. I did actually enjoy that spot. I know it's like an overdone thing to have like everyone gang up on the big person, but it made sense because Nia was actually shown to be a threat in this one. Mm-hmm. So it worked for this one. But in the calm after the storm, Sasha Banks sneaks back into the ring and eliminates her friend, Bayley. Natalya locks in a sharpshooter on Trish while screaming, tap, 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 for some reason. Trish fights out and eliminates Natty. I wonder if Natalya knew she was eliminated from the match because I think she just thought this was like a gauntlet match or something. I don't know. Trish goes for a Stratisfaction on Sasha, but Banks lifts her over the top rope and we are down to our final four. Sasha Banks, Brie, and Nikki Bella, and Asuka. Sasha turns around right into a face-off with Asuka, who's basically licking her lips at the thought of this. As the crowd chants, Asuka's gonna kill you, the boss suggests that they team up on the Bella Twins before blindsiding Asuka with a right hand. The three other women gang up on Asuka now in an attempt to soften her up and eliminate her. Sasha goes for the double knees in the corner on Asuka, but as she hoists herself up, Nikki and Brie dump her over the top rope and down to the floor. And after 54 minutes and 46 seconds, Sasha Banks is no more. I actually really like that elimination. I thought it was unique. And it did kind of come out of nowhere because the Bellas, Sasha, were playing this heel character and they were playing it well. And then all of a sudden Sasha's in midair and they're like, oh, well, it's time for you to fucking go. And it worked. It was very smoothly done. I enjoyed it. Brie and Nikki then turn their attention back to Asuka, and as they attempt to eliminate her, Stephanie McMahon spoils the ending by exclaiming, Asuka's going over. Yes, she is. Both Bellas get pushed away and are on their knees as Asuka delivers vicious kicks to their chests. After surviving an elimination attempt from Asuka, Brie is on the apron. Nikki hits a fireman's carry into a neckbreaker on Asuka and then eliminates her sister. Again, enjoyed that elimination. Was a surprise. We're down to our final two now, and Asuka hits a missile dropkick on Nikki. Nikki reverses a splash in the corner and follows it up with a step-up enziguri from the second rope. Nikki lifts Asuka into a fireman's carry and places Asuka on the apron. A forearm to the face drops Asuka into a seated position. Nikki runs at Asuka to knock her off the apron, but Asuka meets her with a kick before pulling her onto the apron with her legs, and now both women are on equal, unsteady footing, exchanging blows in a precarious position. Nikki lands a blow on Asuka that sends her onto her back, but Asuka kicks out at Nikki's shins and she falls to the floor. Asuka is the historic, first time ever, never seen before for the first time ever, winner of the first ever Women's Rumble match for the first time ever. Does your rebooking include this post-match segment?
Yeah, just run through everything and give your rating and thoughts, and then I'll take the reins.
So, the Roman Reigns. So, Charlotte and Alexa step into the ring for Asuka to make her important decision, and Bad Reputation by Joan Jett begins blasting over the speakers. Could it be? It is! Oh my! Ronda Rousey is making her way down to the ring, and Stephanie had no idea about it, despite making reference to it earlier in the night. Rousey steps in the ring and points at the WrestleMania sign before she big leagues Alexa Bliss, staring down Charlotte Flair and extending a handshake to Asuka, who bats her hand away. She then turns around and points to the WrestleMania sign again, awkwardly, before leaving the ring and sharing a tentative handshake with her new boss, Stephanie McMahon. I went 3.75 for this one. I thought it was a bit clunky, and it highlighted a severe problem that WWE has with their women's division in that the only stories they're capable of telling are when championships are involved, and it's also the only time when more than 2 or 3 women are actually on screen at a time. So you just had a lot of kind of singles competitors that didn't really have much history with each other, aside from the NXT girls, or Beth Phoenix and Natalya are friends in real life and we know that. So there wasn't like there wasn't much storytelling going on. It was just kind of like, here's this person that you know. It wasn't a bad Rumble. I thought the final two were good. I understand having Nikki Bella in the final two. Obviously, she's massively popular from Total Bellas, and Asuka obviously is going to be your winner and going to WrestleMania. So it made sense to have those as the final two because it kind of appeals to two very different demographics and gives people someone to root for regardless. That was fine. I thought having them both on the apron made for some like good drama of like, well, it could go either way here, like a slip from either one of them or whatever. But yeah, like I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoy Royal Rumbles for the most part. But yeah, I think it showed a lot of glaring issues with WWE. And although this was long overdue, I also think that it was at an awkward time where the women's roster, yes, had some stars on it, and stock was starting to kind of rise across the division. But it was still kind of burgeoning division where not too many people got the same kind of reactions as in the men's Rumble.
Okay, well, I gave it a 3.75 as well, so we're very like-minded
Oh my God.
in that. I know. I thought, yes, it was above average, and it was a pretty, you could call it even a great match, and we can all put not a lot of, but some credit in the bank there because it is genuinely, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. That's important, and that's great, and everything. But I think with a little bit, but the thing is like, it felt like WWE were just like, oh, fucking fine, we got to fill this fucking quota and do this, rather than like, oh, our women competitors are fucking awesome, they've earned this opportunity. Some entrants in this match were obviously more capable in the ring than others, which unfortunately did bring the quality down a little smidge. If they put a little bit more effort into it and they actually cared about it, they booked it, you could have easily made this a 5-star Rumble. If you just had a little bit more energy and gusto and quality. It was great for what we got in 2018, and when you compare it to the women's wrestling that we've experienced in even the recent 2000 pay-per-views that we've covered, the degrading bikini matches and the contests and just being eye candy or damsels in distress or valets, to then see this main event, I was like, oh, that's really cool.
It's worlds apart, yeah.
I'm sure that this match is probably a 5-star match in the eyes of hopefully a young girl in 2018 that wants to be a wrestler. And that would be fucking awesome, Yeah. So it's got all that going for it. And it holds up 8 years later. It's pretty good. You had the right winner in Asuka. But then what the fuck was that post-match ending, dude? Like, what the actual fuck? It left a sour taste in an otherwise awesome moment in the mouth with Asuka winning, who was someone who we all wanted to win and everybody loved being the winner. And ultimately we didn't believe in WWE enough for them to action that, but then they did, and it was like, oh my god, this is fucking awesome. And then fucking Ronda Rousey comes out and steals all the spotlight. No, fuck off. Right, anyway, the rebook, I'll try and be as quick as I can. The obvious, because there's not much that needs changing, but I'm just going to put a little bit more effort into it as like a creative consultant on like in the booking room at this time, right? So
you're doing my job.
Obvious thing. Yeah, the obvious thing we need to fix is Ronda coming out at the end and stealing the spotlight. She is obviously, maybe inadvertently, I don't know, but she's stepping on the toes of the two current world champions and the Royal Rumble winner. Not to mention it genuinely being a historic event. We should stay in this moment with the people that are currently working there and that have put in the work for this. Not someone that's a big name that's coming in. It's just, no, it's basically what like nepotism is in the workplace. You work and scratch and claw, and then the talentless son of some executive is at the same level, just fresh out, and it's just like, yeah, you haven't done anything to get here. So there's a little bit of that. So, like I said as well, it didn't feel like something that the women had necessarily earned. It was, or something that like it should feel like they're taking this spot by force instead of just like handed it, Yeah. And the whole Stephanie McMahon thing, pretending that she's the fucking founder of...
Honestly.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? You shouldn't have a woman who has never actually really had a match in WWE be the center stage for your Big Four pay-per-view at the end, right? So I'm not going to shake it up too much, but there's 4 main changes. Number 1, I'm going to change some of the entrants. Unfortunately, Tamina, you're not going to make the cut because at number 7 instead it's Nikki Cross. Because I feel like in that early part of the Rumble, we needed a little bit more energy, and she's an unhinged character. And much like the men's Rumble, this is where you have your gimmicky characters. Bring out your gimmicky, fun fucking characters. It's meant to be a little bit of fun, right? So Nikki Cross is out, and she can work the Rumble, and she's great. She's a good wrestler, obviously. Lana at 13, unfortunately, you don't make the cut either. That is Victoria's spot now for a legend who can actually still go in the ring. I think she was still working some independent dates back in 2018, so why the fuck not bring her in for a one-time deal? She can also stay in the match until Trish comes in at 30, and they can have a callback to their nice little Survivor Series 2002 mirror feud. Thank you very much, nom nom nom. Vicky Guerrero is not at 16. She can fuck off from wrestling as far as I'm concerned forever. Number 16 then becomes Shayna Baszler, who, much like Adam Cole in the men's Rumble, went through a fucking war with Ember Moon on the NXT show the night before. The Baszler change makes sense twofold. We can plant the seed for Ronda, who, spoiler alert, she doesn't fucking show up today. She shows up Raw the next night. So you have an MMA, and Shayna Baszler, she gets eliminated by Ember Moon. They play into that story in the Rumble. That's one of the key story moments, is the Baszler and Ember Moon, and you can play it out on TV. You need to build your division around the future, because you're going to be having a lot of women's matches in quick succession. You need to build up your division, because, you know, even though you're doing it because of, I guess, fan backlash and equality, and you're reluctantly doing it, you do need some good fucking characters and some good stories. So center it around Ember Moon and Shayna Baszler from NXT a little bit. Ember Moon can eliminate Shayna Baszler, and Shayna Baszler just walks up the ramp and she just throws up the 4 horsewomen sign, and that's literally it. That's all you need.
I like that.
And then Ronda Rousey can show up the next night on Raw for a big pop and everything. You can still have your fucking ESPN news outlets like releasing information. You just don't need to step on the toes of Asuka, right? Or your 2 current world champions, who are meant to be a pretty big deal, right? Michelle McCool, I ummed and ahed about keeping her in or not. She can stay in, but don't give her 4 eliminations. She can just whatever, because obviously the Undertaker politicked backstage to give her 4 eliminations. And I don't want to go too in depth. Any other weak spots that anyone can think of, just replace them with hungry NXT talent. Like Bianca Belair is a young, hungry NXT talent at that time. You've got Dakota Kai, who independence and everything, and down in NXT. It's fine. Right, number 2 of my changes, you get rid of Stephanie from commentary and you replace her with Renee Young.
Perfect.
The only thing Stephanie was good for was mention in China, and that was a pretty nice mention, I guess.
That kind of took me by surprise.
TV. Yeah, you can have Michael Cole or Renee say it. It might sound a little bit better from like a lead announcer rather than a fucking executive who has said famously that philanthropy is the future. And it's like profitable and shit. Get fucked. Go away. Yeah, and the third one, I already said it. Ronda does not show up at all. She debuts on Raw the next night, where her program can actually start, because guess what? She's going to be in a fucking mixed tag match with Kurt Angle anyway. Why the fuck is she stepping on the toes of our champions? Fuck off. She's just an attraction right now. She shouldn't be fucking stepping on the titles. Go away. Number 4 is basically just saying that I don't change much of the final 4 at all. Asuka can still eliminate Nikki, but to close the show, we get a proper celebration with streamers coming down, pyro, and like replay packages, which they gave to the men's Rumble earlier in the night. Instead of this post-match angle bollocks, just fucking give them video packages. Be like, oh my god, and this person came back and this was phenomenal, wasn't it? Yeah, fucking do that. Beef up your fucking match that you just gave your all. But Alexa Bliss and Charlotte can still watch and react and stuff, but instead of being statues in some weird Ronda game, they can actually interact. And the final shot can be Asuka like on the turnbuckle celebrating, and then you can frame it with the 2 champions being either side of her, and there you go, you're golden. Also, as like a little addition, Asuka picks Charlotte, the same as what happens, but she beats Charlotte at Mania, because Charlotte shouldn't really have ended the streak at Mania. You should capitalize on popularity. Asuka should have won the title at Mania and survive her streak. We don't get a Carmella cash in the next night on Raw after Mania on Charlotte. Instead, Asuka holds on to the title till SummerSlam. You can have Carmella teasing the cash in. Carmella then, she shouldn't even have the briefcase, but to just fucking get rid of her title shot, she can announce she's cashing in at the main event of SummerSlam, make it a fatal 4-way between Asuka, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Carmella, and then the timeline resumes because Charlotte pins Becky Lynch anyway, and they start their program. So there you go.
Yeah, I like that. I think my favorite thing about it is not having Ronda be there. I get that it's like, it is this massive pop. The people went ape shit for it. But again, like you said, it leads to her having a mixed tag match at WrestleMania, which by all, it was a good match, but it seemed like they were setting up to have her challenge for one of the women's championships, which didn't happen. And then, you do get this really awkward moment of Alexa and Charlotte just kind of standing there. Alexa, by the way, like I said, she big leagues Alexa. Like, she does not even acknowledge that Alexa Bliss is there, which just, like, to me is like, well, you're coming into this industry. Like, I understand that you're, this respected and revered MMA fighter or whatever, but, like, show respect to the people who are at the top of this industry that you've now just joined. So I didn't like that. I did like the tease from Shayna Baszler, because they would, if they cut to that on the camera, you would just get a bunch of ohs, and it's like, oh, so it's coming. And I think saving something for the Raw the following night is good as well, because like everyone was expecting Ronda to be here in some capacity. If you don't have her but she's going to show up, it gets people to tune into Raw and be like, well, she wasn't at the Rumble, so surely they're going to have her debut the night after, because it's the night after a big four. It's kind of like the reset Raw. Yeah, I think just like there should have been more, like you said, like hungry NXT stars, like, because at this time, everyone who was watching WWE was watching NXT and was invested in the people in NXT. I thought Ember Moon was not given a very good showing in this match at all either. Like, she had maybe one spot when she came in, then like she kind of sat on the outside for ages, then returned to the ring, had that little face-off with Asuka, hit the Eclipse, and then was eliminated. And it's like, that's your women's champion in NXT. You compare that to Andrade in the men's Rumble, and he was in that match for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, like
he didn't go in and eliminate 7 or 8 guys, but he was in there for a while. He got a few eliminations against like the likes of Kofi, who is an upper mid-carder, or a mid, like a solid guy on the main roster. Like, it makes him look good. Have Ember Moon get 1 or 2 eliminations. It's not rocket science, guys. You're trying to build a division, and Ember Moon should be one of those people that you try and build the division around. And then they brought her up to main roster and fucking fumbled. I digress. I went for an overall show rating of 4 stars.
Hey, same.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun show. It wasn't perfect. There was some really annoying points to it. I thought Corey Graves was fucking like nails on a chalkboard on commentary. I thought Stephanie didn't do a great job either. I thought Lawler and Cole were awful too. I thought Byron Saxton did a good job on commentary, actually. And I think Byron Saxton actually got an unfair time from people, because he was like the kind of innocent baby face who, he had a centered moral compass and stuck by it. So they always just kind of bullied him as being like a virgin or whatever. But it's like, no, he's just a nice person. But, I thought the 2 Rumble matches were good. I thought the SmackDown tag match, first of all, was incredible. I thought the WWE Championship match was good. I think the Raw tag title match was probably the low point. And even having said that, like, it wasn't a bad match. It was just, that spot on the card was just an awkward one. And it was also just, it was kind of a fine match. The Universal title triple threat, like we said, it was okay. It was nothing groundbreaking, and also, why is Kane there? And also, it's another show without the Big Show. Why couldn't he have been in the Women's Rumble? That could have been something to talk about. But yeah, 4 stars. I think that's fair. Do you have any lasting thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I just the 2 Rumbles were pretty good, and the other matches were pretty average, apart from the WWE title one, which was a little bit above average. And it was a pretty fun show. Yeah.
Shall we go through my best and worst dressed of the night?
Yes, please.
So, worst dressed, I had there was a couple of contenders. Well, I'd say couple. There was one big contender for this, aside from the person who I've awarded it to, Jacqueline.
Right, yeah.
Which I understand. She's a bit older. She doesn't want to be showing off her skin. She might be self-conscious about it. I get that. However, wearing your knee pads outside of your tights that you could have very easily worn inside of your tights, and when the knee pads are black and the tights are bright red and you're wearing a V-neck t-shirt, it just didn't look great. However, it wasn't too... Like, it wasn't a million miles away from what she used to wear back in the day anyway, so I can forgive and forget. My worst dressed, however, goes to the Guy Fieri impersonator that is Seth Rollins. I fucking hated those tights. I understand that, like, it's burn it down and whatever, and that's cool and stuff. I just thought these tights were so fucking ugly. They were disgusting, and I had to watch them in both the Rumble and then the tag match afterwards. I would have given Seth a lot of props and not given him worse dressed if he'd worn different tights. If he'd have just done a little wardrobe change. Because why not? Why not be a bit, drag about it? Best dressed, thank God for the Women's Rumble, because I had thank God, and also for fuck's sake, because there were so many contenders for best dressed here. Oh, also, sorry, meant to shout out for worst dressed, honorable mention, Michelle McCool, because she was wearing both, like, this weird desert camouflage that was also sequined and covered in crosses, which was like, if you want to tell anybody that you're MAGA, like, this is a great way to do it. She has a terrible dress sense anyway. But best dressed, I have my winner. However, a few contenders. I really liked Sasha Banks's Wonder Woman gear. I thought the colours really popped. They looked nice. Her wig actually didn't look too bad either, which is huge for her. Mickie James with the kind of Native American motif that she had going on, but it was like she was wearing like the shorts still had like the bell bottom boots. Who else was there? Oh, I thought Nia Jax looked incredible compared to Survivor Series 2016 when they just slapped a t-shirt on her and she had that really weird black makeup. She actually, she looked glam. Like, she looked really good. Her hair was gorgeous. Her makeup was really nice. And she kind of, her gear had started to, upgrade a bit. So I thought that, she looked really good too. But my best dressed is actually going to a non-wrestler, and it's JoJo.
Nice.
JoJo is a gorgeous woman. We know this. Her hair is fabulous. She's got these gorgeous, tight curls. She was in this sort of, cocktail party mini dress that had, a sheer kind of trail on it, which did a ton of favors for her legs. And then she had these lovely, silver ornate high heels on. Yeah, she looked fantastic. Shouts out to JoJo. We are going to send you a £25 Amazon voucher in the post. As for Seth Rollins, we are going to send you anthrax in the post. For legal reasons, that is a joke. Now the big question, Jack, where are we going next week?
So, a little bit of a different one. For next week, we are going to be visiting TNA Lockdown 2005. It's a new company for us to cover on the podcast, of course. It's not a company that we're unfamiliar with, but there's some gems of pay-per-views dotted around this era, Sam, and I think you realise that, which is why I have picked that. And it's the era of peak young Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels, basically. So, fuck yeah, let's go.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that, because, like you said, we haven't done a TNA show. This is, peak X Division era for TNA. So that'll be fun. Until then, folks, children, babbies, I've been Samantha.
And I've been Jack.
And we'll see you for TNA Lockdown. Bye!
1,